the Black Road. After the Black Road, the NA 261 Dunlock. People drove their cattle along its leafy path, going to the nearest village or town to barter goods to see the latest wares. How grand it must have been to go barefoot through the countryside, so closely connected to the streams and rivers, yourself a tributary. The trees in thick clusters danced in the sunlight at Baltna, carrying green fire that shimmered finely as emerald caught by any lake shore. Older willow whispered of marauders, of Norsemen moored at Drogheda and Dublin, told of their stealth in the approach to Kells, their gold-greedy fingers. The elm and beech cloistered the monk fleeing with treasured parchment, real wealth in artistry, in knowledge passed from heart to hand. Ancient pines sang beneath the full moon and starlight by clearings at Sown and the solstice of tribes fearful of the afterlife, coaxing lug back into their burial chambers, anxiously waiting by the bend of the Boyne at Newgrange for the turn of the year. Hunting for beast, fish and fowl to roast, through thick trunks petrified by frost, wide boughs laced with sleeted cobwebs.
Hello everyone, I'm Arthur Broomfield from County Laois, and this is my poem from Boyne Berries 27, chosen by the editor, Orla. So thank you so much, Orla, for choosing my poem. It's a poem dedicated to the memory of Francis Ledwidge, who was killed in the war, the First World War, in Ypres. And it's called, Did He Hear the Bittern Cry? Some have decisions thrust upon them, like soapy water and tapioca. Were you the farm boy from Slane, who smelt the new mown meadow, thrilled by your first court behind a haycock, before Mother Mouse built her nest in its butt, behind the barricade of withered thistlethorns? Did you gee up a pair of farting Irish drafts on an edgy March morning when the tweets and shoots defied the drying east wind and the seagulls contested the right to life of the subterranean colonies? Their homes and hamlets churned up on the bare sod. Or, working on the potholed road, did you earwig on the nodding gossips heading from the shop? Flour and salt weighing down their wicker bags. They'll be on the boat Monday morning, I hear, the two of them. Did you defecate in Dunsany's ditch and wipe your arse with a clasp of grass and primrose leaves? Did you skip with the spring lambs, racing and jumping in the April evening as the family butcher in trim sharpened his knives and scrubbed his block in the cause of health and safety? When they chose you for reserve in Ypres to lay roads, old habits die hard. Did you hear the bittern cry as the German shell sang your epitaph. Ledwidge killed, blown to bits. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Frances Bran, and I'd like to read my poem on seeing our old kitchen done with in a dingy pink skip. What if, on a whim, a tree whipped off a twig, then dipped it in a rust-crusted pool, then found a bare wall, the roof of a scrapped car, the side of a skip, then scrawled a haiku, a sonnet, a villanelle. Think of the spiel, think of the reveal. Imagine the syllogisms squirreled away in the rings of an aged oak. Imagine the whisperings hidden in weeping beech leaves. Imagine the secrets stashed in those innocent butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, birch boughs. Picture the tree poeticizing like Poe. Picture the tree being Keats and penning odes. Picture the tree scribbling daft love sextets for the sun. Picture the tree composing prose poems, ranting at the rain, the wind, dogs, chainsaws, paper, climate change. Perish the thought that a pine would write a rhyme about us.
Thanks, Orla, for the opportunity to read today and for including me in the magazine. Spring Song. Rejoice in great composers. Their music blends vivid greens of field and hill, the cool grey spores of clouds. Rejoice in the earth, that good ship. Welcome again, its slow, great turn through the universe. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm KS Moore and I'm very pleased to read my poem Dad's Hat for the launch of Boyne Berries 27. Many thanks to Orla Faye for including me and this poem that means a lot to me as it's about my dad who passed away in 2017. Dad's Hat. The day the river waltzed with his hat as if it were its own person, Dad wished he could dance on water. The line of curls above his neck stood alone against sunbeamed light. Speaking to him as a lost boy, we held his hands and watched it twirl, like sycamore cutting the summer short. Later, Dad found faith in a pint. We ate out of baskets, thought it a treat. When Dad said, "You can't rush this food," I remembered his hat, rushed downstream, knew he would buy another, wear it until it was worn thin or taken.
I am lost to the world. I read the morning news. There is a prayer stuck in the throat of the holy dove. A revolution in the dark corridors of the bourgeoisie, where limp shadows hang like red velvet drapes. There are hands full of bloodshed that pull down the night, so nothing can be seen. When the sun rises, it is broken, and death appears on the wind. I pressed my ear against an empty space, listened to the bones of the dispossessed howl, listened to the flesh of lovers pulling this way and that, and the air smelled of deceit. Sometimes I cannot hear the sound of my own voice, as if it is severed on the edge of some place it would rather be. When I looked in the mirror, instead of my mouth, I saw a grave.